all of you. Okay. Thanks for all of you of being here. I don't need much presentation, as Christiane has said. I will be talking about some derived work that occurred during my PhD, which was the revision of genus Rhynchocoris within the Pentatomidae. So first of all, genus Rhynchocoris is the type genus of the tribe Rhynchocorini as we currently recognize it. It's within the Pentatomidae subfamily. And despite the fact that the genus Rhynchocoris has not been placed in a phylogenetic context, some of its relatives like genus Ophiroe and other members have been including several phylogenetic analysis based in molecular, morphological, or either both of them combined. However,
Marcus, wait, Marcus, do you want to go into a presentation mode that we see your full screen?
You're not seeing the full screen?
We're seeing the overview kind of thing where we see the slides all on the side, but it's not a presentation mode.
Okay, let me know what's going on. I should know by this stage to do it better.
And now we heard the really noisy birds in the background.
Yeah, they're all around. As I was saying, the genus has not been placed, at least in the molecular level, into a phylogeny, but some of its relatives have been included in molecular phylogenies, and the group has been included in molecular, morphological, and combined analysis. But we know at this stage that the internal relations of the family are not solved. It's something that I've been talking about all along and all the time. However, what we are consistently finding with multiple lines of evidence is that the Rhynchocorines, if you might accept me saying, they always appear as a basal lineage within the family Pentatomidae. Rhynchocorines have an Australian, New Guinean, Oceanic, and Oriental distribution. They have around 107 described species within 18 genera, and it's a group that has not undergone many classifications after the group was defined, besides some genera being included. This is one of the reasons this is because they have really good morphological synapomorphies, like the directed forward carinated mesosternum in the blue frame, and then a really well-developed metasternum in the black frame. Some of the genera, however, within the Rhynchocorines have received some attention and have been reviewed, such as the Aphyta, Ophiroe cuspicona, also Vitellus, and Avicenna. However, genus Rhynchocoris, which is the type genus of this, let's call it group, has never been revised as its own. This is genus Rhynchocoris, as you might see it, and it follows a typical Oriental distribution. This map has been done placing the location of the type specimens on the map, which this genus, it is pretty common in entomological collections. However, as it usually occurs with many of the pentatomids, their number of species available in the collections is usually pretty low. And here I extracted a map from INAT, so filtering for the genus, and you can see that with the current records published online, we can also follow this typical Oriental distribution. So back to the genus. The genus is defined by having a greenish, yellowish coloration. The species are medium to large size. They all show this greatly enlarged spiny humeral angle. And what clearly groups all these species together is the presence of black markings on the head. Additionally, some of the species, in particular Rhynchocoris humeralis, but some other closely related species too, are important pests on citrus, which makes them let's say an important species to be aware of. And when revising all these specimens, I was surprised. It's like, okay, I've got these two things here, and do they really look the same, or should they be split? And should I focus on trying to see what the differences are besides the most obvious ones? So after an internship in David Ryder's lab in Fargo, where he kindly helped me out and showed all his collection and all his work from the previous years, we borrowed pictures of the type specimens, and he kindly shared some of the type specimens he had with me. And we could clearly see that there were two very different morphological groups. The first one is species that were substantially larger. And when I mean substantially larger, is like around 2 and sometimes a bit more centimeters inside. The mandibular plates were clearly longer than the clipios, and then in the phallus, the spermathecal reservoir was not visible. While on the other hand, there was this group of species that were consistently smaller. The mandibular plates and clipios had more or less the same proportions with a more parabolic kind of head shape, and the spermathecal reservoir on the phallus was clearly visible and outside of the theca. And therefore, we could define the genus Rhynchocoris based on the type species Rhynchocoris humeralis that had this set of characters. And then I decided to go forward and delimit this new genus based on the other characters, placing and keying all the species in each one of the groups. So the first group consists of 6 species, and now with Rhynchocoris humeralis being the type species of the genus. And then on the other hand, we have this new genus where 3 species, Alatus, Plagiatus, and Nigridens, that were before in Rhynchocoris, are transferred into Rhynchocoris, into this that were in Rhynchocoris are now transferred to this genus. Then a species that was in Cuspicona lateralis, was also transferred to this genus based on all the further mentioned characters. And we synonymized also the species Rhynchocoris marginotatus. And on the other hand, we have 2 new species, one from Borneo and the other one from Vietnam. Therefore, when we place these species in the map, we can see that they still follow this oriental distribution, both of the genera, and they have a sympatric coexistence. So, as for the concluding remarks, the type genus has been delimited, or it's in its process of being delimited. Hopefully, it will come out pretty soon. And genus Rhynchocoris sensu stricto has 6 confirmed species, which will be redescribed. And 3 of the species that were before in Rhynchocoris were transferred to this new genus. As for the new genus, we now have 6 species also, the 3 previous ones transferred from Rhynchocoris. Cuspicona lateralis with its new synonymy Rhynchocoris marginotatus that have been also transferred, and then 2 new species, one from Vietnam and the other one from Borneo. So that's it for my talk. I would especially like to thank Professor David Ryder. Without all his help, material, advice, and also having me in his lab, this would not have been possible in any way. And also, I have to give my thanks to Professor Jung in Chungnam National University because this was part of my PhD dissertation. So thank you very much all, and I hope it was